Hi, and I'm here with a book review and a series review really, and discussion video of the Summer I Turned Pretty series by Jenny Han. So that is, oops, not in the right order. This Summer I Turned Pretty, It's Not Summer Without You, and We'll Always Have Summer. So I did read these this month. I actually read both This Summer I Turned Pretty and It's Not Summer Without You in one day, like not a day each, a day. And I could have easily finished We'll Always Have Summer, but we'll get there. Basically, this series follows a girl named Belly, and every summer she goes to this like beach house with her brother and her mom and her mom's best friend and her two sons. And for basically her whole life she has had a crush on one of the boys named Conrad, and then this one summer she goes and she's changed. Basically she's just grown up a little, like she's just a young adult now instead of being like a little kid. But it's the summer she turns pretty, and Conrad starts to notice her, but so does Jeremiah, the younger of the brothers. So there's kind of like a love triangle going on, and the books take place over several years, and it's all about the relationship between these three characters and their emotional growth. And I think even more so it's about Belly's personal growth and her journey to adulthood. And you definitely see that in the last book, or you're supposed to see it in the last book. So I gave This Summer I Turned Pretty and It's Not Summer Without You 4 stars each, and I gave We'll Always Have Summer 2.5 stars. And I struggled. I really had to think about what I was going to rate that book. And it's not often I give something less than 3 stars. The books are interesting, especially the first two. Belly's character gets on my nerves a little bit. I find her a little childish and immature, which is fine in the first book. And I feel like she was supposed to mature and get older as the series goes on, which would have then made her behavior in the first book more bearable, but I didn't feel like she grew up. I know some people do. I think Reagan from Peru's Project believes that Belly does grow up a lot. I just didn't see it. I felt her behavior was still really childish and immature, and I wanted her to be so much more. But other characters do grow. I think Conrad grows a lot. I'm still not 100% sure how I feel about Conrad, but he does grow. I also didn't like the way Jeremiah was written. I'll talk more about this in my spoiler section because it felt false to me. Like the writing of the character felt like disingenuous. So yeah, I don't know. In general, I think the plotline is kind of interesting. I definitely liked the idea of this long-term relationship between these families, and I liked what happened with her mom's best friend, with her mom's best friend Susanna. I really liked her as a character, and I liked where her story went, and I liked her relationship with Belly. Like, I liked seeing the difference. Susanna kind of acts as a mom to Belly as well, just like a different kind of mom, and I liked seeing that, although that was another time when I thought Belly acted kind of immature sometimes. And I also enjoyed that these books seem like really light summer contemporary reads, but address some darker, intense topics. I did cry in It's Not Summer Without You, so I was emotional. I wouldn't say don't read them, but they are very popular. Tons of people really like them, so I feel like a lot of people would enjoy them, but they're just not my style. It's like I said, it's really hard to talk about without going into spoilers. So I would pick them up, maybe pick up the first book and see where you want to go, and then, or maybe just do like a library, or if you can get them off Book Outlet, I think that's a good idea. So let's talk about the spoileries now. Let's go there. So really what I want to talk about is the events that occur in the last book. So I did film a video the day I started reading this book, and I will put this in here somewhere, I'm not sure where. It's kind of long, but it's really just me ranting about this book. And I had only gotten a few chapters in, I think, like maybe, well, they're short chapters, maybe like 50 pages. And I actually ended up leaving this book and moving on to another book. I decided to reread Origin by Jennifer Armentrout instead. But I could not stop thinking about how angry this book made me, and that's what it did. It made me angry. It's Not Summer Without You. Belly gets together with Jeremiah, and I love Jeremiah, and I think he's amazing. I think he's a good guy. I think he's sweet and awesome. And I remember writing at the end of my notes, because I take notes when I'm reading, at the end of It's Not Summer Without You, that I didn't care if Belly didn't end up with Jeremiah as long as she didn't end up with Conrad, because I think Conrad's behavior in the first 2 books, especially the second one, is just like, yes, I understand he's going through a tough time with his mother's death and everything, but he's such a jackass, and he like emotionally manipulates Belly, and I can't, I mean, people grow and people change, but I felt like he never had to pay for that, really. Like, he continues to do it in We'll Always Have Summer. Like, not as much, don't get me wrong, but he continues to do it. When he tells her he loves her, and then the next day he's like, oh, no, I didn't mean it. Just because your pride is hurt, like, no, that's emotionally manipulative. You're trying to change her opinions by telling her to like fix your own internal things, and then you just completely take it back because she's justifiably confused. And then the end, I don't know if this is in all the books, but like mine has like his letters to her at the very end, and I thought that those were manipulative as well. They're supposed to be like sweet, cute, oh, he's writing her letters, and no. The one where he's like, I'll read it 2 ways. I don't know if I can read it 2 ways. Okay, I'll try. Dear Belly, so far I've written you 2 letters, and you've written me, well, none. Which is fine. Go ahead and feel free not to write back to me. Seriously, don't feel obligated or anything, even though I've sent you 2 handwritten letters and 2 gifts. But seriously, don't write me back. I'm serious. It's better this way. I like hearing my news secondhand. From Lore. I tried, you guys. I tried to make it sound sweet. Now, let me read it how I read it. Dear Belly, so far I've written you 2 letters, and you've written me, well, none. Which is fine. Go ahead. Feel free not to write me back. Seriously, don't feel obligated or anything. Even though I've sent you 2 handwritten letters and 2 gifts. But seriously, don't write back. I'm serious. It's better this way. I like hearing my news secondhand. From Lore. That's how I read it. It is not sweet. It's mean and manipulative, and he's saying that he wants her to go out and grow and be her own person, and then they can maybe get together later, but he's writing her letters like this over and over again. Ugh. Oh, it bothers me. So the other thing is where Jeremiah's character goes in here, and I think I talked about this in that like ranty video I'll put in. Maybe I'll just tack that at the end, so if you don't want to watch it, you could just stop the video when I'm done. I feel like she made him a douche in here, and it didn't feel right to me because in It's Not Summer Without You, we get to read from Jeremiah's perspective, and they were like my favorite chapters. And the Jeremiah in this book didn't feel like the same Jeremiah. And I understand he's a frat boy, and you know, he's going through college, and I have no issues with that. I have no issues with him pushing his boundaries and trying to do different things, but I felt like he was altered to purposely change this story. Like, it almost felt like she wrote in this perfect romance between, and not perfect in that like it was flawless, but this like great growth emotionally for Jeremiah and Belly, and then was like, oh crap, no, I really want her to end up with Conrad. I need to make Jeremiah a bad guy. And I don't think she needed to do that. Like when he cheats on Belly, I'm sorry. I mean, if I was in that situation, I would be upset about it. Do not get me wrong. But there was something about Belly's reaction, like I kind of wanted her to handle it better. Like, and she never acknowledged the fact that they were not together. I'm sorry. Do we need to go, like, is this Friends all over again? You were not together. Was it the best decision he could have made? No. But they weren't a couple. Like, it's not cheating. It's just a stupid decision. I mean, then you have, like, the engagement, which is another stupid-ass decision. And I feel like that's the only reason Jeremiah cheated on Belly, was because then it was a way for Jenny Han to force an engagement so she could tell the story she wanted to tell. I guess. So the whole thing just bothered me, and I didn't like Jeremiah's behavior through the whole thing. I thought he, like I said, he was turned into a villain unnecessarily, and then Conrad was turned into this like, oh, I'm like a lost puppy dog kind of a character, and I just, it rubbed me the wrong way. It really, really did. And I also felt like this was supposed to be Belly realizing that she was young and needed to grow and live in the world without Cousins Beach and the Fisher boys and all of that. And I like that idea, but we got so little of that. And basically the whole time she was out in the world growing, Conrad was writing those letters to her. So did she really have the opportunity to grow? Like, she was obviously reading them, even if she wasn't responding. And I don't know, I almost would have preferred that she end up with neither of them. Like, that she just go out in the world and become an independent person and not get married when she's like 23 years old. Like, I don't know. It was just lacking for me. There were parts I liked. I just feel like, I mean, like I said in my non-spoiler section, I really liked Susanna, and I was so sad by her story. Like, her storyline just like destroyed me. But I felt like I needed to review this. I feel like I either do reviews when I absolutely love books, or when I don't like a book or series that is like incredibly popular, because I need to like put the contrary opinion out there so people know it exists. Because I think a lot of times there's books that you don't like and you feel like no one else feels the same way as you, so I hope that if I put my negative thoughts out, then people will understand or know that they're not alone. Maybe I am alone and I'm the only one that doesn't like these books. That is my thought on these books. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to keep them or get rid of them. So thank you for watching, and then if you want to stay tuned at the end after this little spiel here, I'll put the video that I filmed when I originally started reading We'll Always Have Summer, where I'm just like angry pants. And thank you for watching. If you have anything to say, just let me know down in the comments. Bye! I don't even know why I'm filming this, but I think it's just because I'm angry, and if I don't say anything, I'm just gonna like let it fester in my head. So, oh my gosh, I probably look like crap too. It is Sunday, June 1st, and I've been reading the Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy today, and I was like, oh, well, my internet went out, so I was like, oh, well, I'll just read the whole series, because they're pretty short. They're like less than 300 pages each, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. I blew through the Summer I Turned Pretty, and It's Not Summer Without You. I thought they were pretty good. And then I started reading this book, and I was reading it, and oh my freaking god, Belly is pissing me off. And I take notes when I'm writing, and at the ends of my notes for It's Not Summer Without You, I wrote, I don't care who Belly ends up with, if she chooses to be alone or anything, as long as it's not Conrad. And the minute I started reading this book, I knew that she was probably going to end up with Conrad. And I was like, don't read the end of the book. Don't read it, just read the book. Go through it. And then I continue to read. I'm like 60 pages in, and I couldn't stop myself. I needed to know. And because at this point it was like 8 o'clock at night, so if I was going to stay up to finish to read this book, I wanted it to end the way I wanted it to end. And I read the end, and she ends up with Conrad. So I haven't finished it yet. I'm still on page 60, but I know how it ends. I'm livid. I can't stand Belly right now. I think she's immature, childish. She doesn't deserve Jeremiah. I'm not mad at him for what he did at all. And I think she's overreacting, her friends are overreacting. I think she has done more dysfunctional things in their relationship than he has. And I think Conrad is, I watched Reagan's review to see if maybe that would change my opinion, because I hadn't watched it. I even watched the discussion part because I figured nothing could be spoiled for me at this point. And I agree with her. I think Conrad was emotionally abusive and manipulative in the second book. And I don't care how much you grow, I'm not going to get over that. I'm not. So I am going to finish reading this book. If it kills me, maybe my opinion will change, but I don't think it will. I did read the last chapter, so it looks like Jeremiah is happy. for which I'm grateful, because at this point he's the only one I care about. And yeah, so what I did was I put sticky notes in the book for 3 chapters, and I'm going to read 3 chapters a day, and in an effort to force myself to read it because I want to finish it, because I bought it. But at this point, I'm just angry about the whole situation. I don't know if I'm going to include this in. I do want to do a review and discussion on this book, and like I said, maybe my thoughts will change, but I'm so upset right now. I feel like I've been manipulated, because I feel like, honestly, ever since the summer I turned pretty, I've been Team Jeremiah. And is this what it feels like to be like Team Gale? I don't understand. Like, I have never had a romance not go my way. And Jeremiah is a good person, and even at the beginning of this book, I marked this. She says, I've only ever loved 2 boys, both of them with the last name Fisher. Conrad was first, and I loved him in a way that you can really only do the first time around. It's the kind of love that doesn't know better and doesn't want to. It's dizzy and foolish and fierce. That kind of love is really a one-time only thing. And then there was Jeremiah. When I looked at Jeremiah, I saw past, present, and future. He didn't just know the girl I used to be. He knew the right now me, and he loved me anyway. And I'm sorry, but unless this is like 19-year-old Belly and her voice, which maybe it is, you should end up with Jeremiah. And I'm sorry, but I'm so angry about the situation. I don't know what I was saying before I read that little spiel part. I'm hoping that having done this will allow me to move on and everything. I like don't even know what to read now. I am so angry about the situation. Like, I was looking at my TBR pile, which is behind me, and I don't even know what to do. Like, nothing can get me out of it. So I think I'm gonna do a reread, because then I know I will enjoy what I'm reading instead of taking a risk on something. But hopefully I calm down now. Like, literally, even though it's 60 pages, I've already had more notes for this book than either of the first 2, just because I'm like trying to get out my angry feelings. So hopefully this will help. This is like really long. I don't know. I'm so sorry about the lighting, my hair, and everything. And